Howdy, I'm Jason Marino, and today I'd like to talk with you about future. Now, the future is something that is always happening. Even now, we're in the future. And now we are in the future again. No matter what, we are always going into the future. Now, the issue that comes up is, how are we going into the future? Are we going into it unintentionally, where things just happen and we go with the flow? Or are we doing things to deliberately and intentionally go where we wish to be? And that's the thing about strength and beauty. You see, oftentimes whenever we are moving forward into the future, we're just doing what everybody around us is doing. Teachers end up liking the same TV shows. Movie stars end up liking the same social causes. Family members end up liking the same sports. We just end up adopting the same things as the people around us. But when we become intentional, then we discover that we each have a unique purpose and direction based on the way that we believe about ourselves and about the world around us. When we end up seeing that we have a purpose and that we have a specific direction in which to go, and we make decisions based on that, then we end up becoming stronger and, in a sense, more beautiful for having done so. You see, it's the reason why oftentimes someone may find the athlete and the scientist beautiful. Not because they don't have a type or because they like both of them necessarily, but because if the athlete and the scientist both know their purpose and they're both moving toward that purpose, then their life ends up standing out as a sense of strength and beauty. And that's the thing oftentimes with not only our personal lives, but also with our work. The question, are you working to live or living to work? It's more of a question of, do you see your purpose as, let me have a job so I can care for myself and my family and be a meaningful part of society? Do you see your job as, I need to naturally do something that I'm gifted at and that I'm passionate about? Do you see it as a blending of the two? Whatever that is, if you know what your purpose and your calling are, then you can end up living toward that in a way that brings strength and beauty. Now, I do have to make a note that oftentimes, whenever people are living toward that sense of strength and beauty, that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone's attracted to it. Oftentimes, their sense of strength and beauty may be something that we find repugnant. But we have to realize that sometimes that sense of disgust that we might have is not necessarily because they've done something wrong, but maybe it's because we're rejecting what they are pursuing because our purpose is so different from theirs. It's a possibility, but not always like that. Now, we should also then be able to say that when we have a sense of purpose, it has to be our own. It has to be something that we have adopted. It has to be something that we have personalized. Because if we don't, then we find ourselves frustrated because we're going forward, but we feel like we're moving backward. And so with that, we won't get away from struggles and turmoil and strife, but rather because we know that we're moving toward our purpose and because we know what that purpose is, then therefore we feel stronger and better because we're becoming the person we want to be and moving into the future that we want to have. So the question is, have you discovered the purpose that you are truly meant to have? And are you making deliberate decisions about your job, your education, and your life and resources in order to move into that future?